Even if you don't forgive, it is still possible to find peace. Now, I know that sounds like a bit of an oxymoron because forgiving and finding peace go together. And if you don't forgive, you don't find peace. I'm going to be pulled up by a lot of people on this, but I don't care because I'm telling you, most people get this wrong. Hi, my name's Aaron from aarongross.com, and I help people get clarity on all sorts of decisions, whether it's in partnerships, relationships, business, work, job, money, love, finding a partner, and all sorts of other decisions that people need clarity on in their lives. And today I've got a great controversial topic that needs more clarity in our lives, which most people, I feel, get wrong. And that is that you can still find peace without forgiving the person who wronged you. I know it sounds unusual, I know it sounds counterintuitive, because in the self-help world, and most people I feel will tell you, you need to forgive the part in you that you're holding on to against that other person in order to find your own solace and your own release and your own freedom. Well, it can be the case, but I think they're leaving out a very important element over here that is really misunderstood. Just because someone's unforgivable doesn't mean that I can't find happiness. There are some really bad things that people do to us, and we perceive them as unforgivable. Like mass murderers are unforgivable for their actions by most people's definition, but there are a lot of things that people do that, well, maybe they could be forgivable. But we're so revved up in our thought and so worked up in our stories that we lack perspective and we can't let go of that person that wronged us. A great example of something that I don't consider to be the end of the world is someone cuts me off in the road. Okay, they cut me off in the road and people go into road rage and how dare you when you cut me off, and they might get out of the car and even have a punch up over it. Well, I just think that's ridiculous. I mean, they cut you off on the road, they certainly did the wrong thing. I don't forgive them for it, but I'm not going to get all revved up in my thinking that I'm holding on to that attachment. So that is the answer on how you find happiness without forgiving. Someone did something wrong, and I'm in shock when it happens to me. Yeah, they did the wrong thing by me, but okay. But after the shock has happened, after the incident happened, and I'm starting to settle down in my thinking, I can still choose to let go of those thoughts, those revved up thoughts, those attachments to the injustice and how dare you, etc., etc., etc. So, and I usually let go of a lot of hate in the process of that. But just because I let go of the hate and angst, does that mean they're forgiven? No. The guy cut me off on the street. He definitely did the wrong thing. Definitely. But I'm letting now go of the revved up thinking, and maybe that guy had a fight with his girlfriend or something. I don't know. He's all revved up in his thought. It doesn't mean I have to do so in kind and get revved up in my thought. I'm not always telling you, just remember this, that you should never not forgive, or you should forgive. There are certain incidents that are really unforgivable, like mass murderers or whatever. But I don't have to walk around for the rest of my life in angst and hatred towards them. I don't necessarily like them, but I don't have to continuously get revved up. And that is the misunderstanding of forgiveness. People think that in order to let go of the angst and the hatred that you're carrying in yourself, you must forgive the other person. No, you don't have to forgive the other person who's definitely done the wrong thing by you. You might not. But if you let go of the attached thinking and the revved up thinking and all the big story that you've got continuously, you're ruminating in your head continuously, that's key to freedom. That's key to your happiness and well-being. If you do that, you may conclude at the end with a level-headed mind, with clarity, once you've let go of those angry thoughts, that revved up thinking, that this person has really done the wrong thing and he should go to jail, or he should be punished for his actions. But you'll do it with a level head, without all the excitement and emotional charge to go with it. And that's when you're going to be thinking more strategically and more logically. The way I discovered this was when I was watching a very emotional video of a woman that was doing her best to send her abuser to jail for the rest of his life. She broke up with him and he almost knifed her to death. She died twice on the operating table, and thank God, miraculously, they brought her back to life and she was saved. And then she eventually reinvented herself, rebuilt her own life after the tragedy, and thank God she's okay. But the thing was, in the court, she said, I'm not going to let this person have power over me, and I'm going to forgive him. But when I looked up in the Google dictionary what forgiveness means, one of the synonyms or definitions they gave was exoneration. This guy was not exonerated. She was doing her best to make sure that he was being prosecuted and sentenced to life imprisonment for his actions of his deplorable actions of what he did against her. So did she forgive him? Well, she said she did. I say she didn't, because she did not exonerate him for his actions. What I will say is that she was letting go of her angst and her hatred and all the revved up thoughts she had so she could move forward with her life. You could even feel sorry for such a person, because he probably had a very, very dysfunctional upbringing, no love in his life, no thoughtful parental guidance in his life. Maybe he had a rough time at school, all sorts of things, which led him to his insecure behavior and his unacceptable behavior, which cost him life imprisonment. I could feel sorry for him, but I don't necessarily forgive him. Maybe in 100 years I could forgive him once he has mended his ways, if I saw that he changed himself. But at this point, I don't forgive him. He needs to go to jail. Do I feel sorry for him? Yes. There are some people like tyrants, mass murderers, that I don't forgive, and I feel that they're definitely doing the wrong thing against society. But I don't need to run around all day with hate and angst in my thinking all day, because that's unhealthy. Because when you're thinking unhealthy thoughts, you're getting all worked up. You're creating cortisol hormones in your body. You're going into fight and flight mode where you're running away or you're fighting. And that's good for a while, but if you're going to have that going on in your life all day, well, then you're just going to end up going into depression. And depression is actually an interesting thing, because that's really a safety valve of anxiety. Depression is where you actually shut down because you don't want any of that revved up thinking anymore, and you've just shut down, and you're almost like you're dead and awake at the same time. You're awake, but you just can't function normally because you're just shutting down. Some people will go to addictions like alcohol or whatever to shut down their revved up thinking. I'm telling you that if you realize that, hey, I've got all this revved up thinking and there's nothing to do, it's just to realize that when I let go of that revved up thinking, I can then calm down and get perspective. I might or I might not forgive. But I'm going to have happiness when I realize that it's all thought, and I can choose to let go of it if I so desire. Hope you like this. Hope it's given you some new perspective on forgiveness as opposed to revved up thinking. Just because you don't forgive doesn't mean that you can't have freedom and happiness. If you enjoy this, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now. If you would like to continue this discussion with me, I offer a free 15-minute call. You can get the details up there, and you can give me a call, Melbourne, Australian time only, please, and we can continue this conversation to see if I could work with you and help you on your own decisions in your own life, in your own challenges, and perhaps work with you in the future at a professional level to help you find freedom, happiness, and peace in your own life. Until next time, bye for now.